general audit firms, enterprise-facing companies, 6 to 9 months when it comes to auditing and giving you a exact PDF report, which you can just read and not do an actionable remediation for the same. We figured out most of the companies first go in and take the data physically, even accesses the private and confidential data of those companies, and they have more information than they're supposed to.
So when we were servicing clients for making them DPDP compliant, what we came across, the very first part is creating DPA registry. And for that, we need to discover the vendors first. And for that to happen, we have to do too many to and fro with either the legal team or the tech team, because legal team at times are not aware what their marketing team or what tool they're using. For example, the marketing team might be using Google Analytics, Metapixels, whereas their finance team might be using something else, and HR team would have their HR software of their own. So what happens, this to and fro in the initial phases for us was in form of we sending them PDF, that line remaining on their desks for weeks, unless and until we remind them to fill that. Then it gets circulated through various departments, and then we get the answer back. It used to take every PDF form filling of, let's say, 2-3 pages used to take a week or maybe 2 at times, thereby increasing the time for us to service and also wasting the time of that organization which is going for a DPDP readiness.
So we are trying to cut a lot of that time and a lot of those efforts by creating proprietary connectors. When we talk about proprietary connectors, what we understood, you have many data processors, you have many data silos. For accessing the metadata, as we would not want to engage with any personally identifiable information data of any company because it's their personal confidential data, we created proprietary connectors which just goes and checks the schema instead of going and accessing each and every data point.
So one of the clients asked that, how do we fetch that schema and the active fields and labels from their S4 HANA? Some asked for an AWS IAM connector. Some even asked for their Microsoft admin. Because unless and until we can provide the connection to those enterprise tools, it becomes more time consuming for both us and also for the other organization who are getting the DPDP compliance done with us. And thereby we are now in a process of every day building a connector or two. And we already have a swath of connector now, more than 100 connections we are in a position for the most of the enterprise tools available in India.
So the idea here in terms of Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is also can be called as a parallel to a GDPR Act in Europe, we figured out compliance is not at one point of time here. Compliance is a flow state here. So to keep on checking if probably any schema has changed, or for example, there are startups who want to actually keep changing the code because no product is final as of yet. So we figured out to keep continuous compliance, we have created such fast connectors where we were able to actually get the data mapping done of a company within 7 days, right?
Yeah, we can do it in 7, and it depends on the readiness of the organization and how much time do they take to establish those connections and the level of comfort, how likely they are ready to use the cloud connectors, or they are hell-bent on using the on-prem or let's say pen and paper classic style. So for those reasons, what we are trying to do, which de-jure is not something which is needed. That is, we are also doing data mapping and RoPA exercises. However, although GDPR in its Article 30 clearly mandates that companies need to create a RoPA exercise and they have to do the data mapping, which is not the case with the DPDP. However, de facto, every organization who wants to become compliant with DPDP needs to create those documents and go through that exercise of data mapping and RoPA, for which we need to find out the vendors, we need to understand what data is getting shared with those vendors, how they are doing an analysis, so that we or that organization remains in a position whenever a user or client asks that what personal data has been shared, and specifically it becomes highly important for data processors.
Right. So if you feel that your company needs DPDP Act compliance, or you want to understand what your data processes are collecting, where the data is flowing, what data is flowing, so you can definitely connect with us at ComplyDP.com, schedule a small 15-minute session where we'll walk you through how does the posturing go and how can you get compliant and how does the remediation roadmap looks like.
Right. And we also bring along with this tech background, we also bring along a legal experience of advocacy at Supreme Court. It means that every document we vet is not only vetted by some junior, but someone who understands and have practiced law in the past.
So feel free to reach us at privacy@ComplyDP.com or visit our website ComplyDP.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.